Hey, welcome to RPG Horror Stories. And I just want to say I'm trying something a little bit new today. I feel like I want to try, this sort of format, see if it works. It may not, it may, who knows. But here's what I can tell you. Please, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do whatever you gotta do. At 100 subscribers, I am posting a reading of the Old Man Henderson tale in all of its glory. I hope to see you there, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Now, on with the story. Just so that you know, I do read these blind. I only look at the title, and I look at maybe the first paragraph. After that, I don't know until after I start reading what is in the story. So, let's see what makes this a horror story. And by the way, all those takes that you normally see edited, those are edited in. I don't normally do this on the spot. I'm gonna be hard pressed to pull it off, but here we go. D&D turf war at our local bar. I live in Chicago. We have a bar for just about any walk of life here in this big city of Midwestern values. My walk of life mostly incorporates tabletop RPGs, heavy metal, cold lagers, and cheese curds. So, when I stumbled across a bar that specializes in all of the above, I instantly fell in love. The space is truly exceptional. They have a large but relatively private game room separated from a bar by a long hallway. Brutalist fantasy decor, vintage video games, great music, cheap lagers, with a food specialization in donerbles and poutine. Paradise. The first time I stumbled across this place, I noticed the game room and a handcrafted beholder beer bong hanging from the ceiling. I asked the bartender if they have D&D games I could attend as a player or a DM. They directed me to a Facebook group where they organize their events. This group has been meeting every Wednesday at 7:30. Sorry. I dusted off the old Facebook app and started making a post. Hey, I'm new to this community. I am an experienced dungeon master, and I am looking to run a D&D 5e one-shot on 3 weeks from next Wednesday at the bar. The one-shot is designed to incorporate a tarot card reading, and the party goes on a journey that fulfills the fortune of the cards. Let me know if you are interested. The post got a lot of likes and comments from interested players, but after a few hours, I received a comment from the admin. Let's call him Gob. Sorry to burst your bubble, but this group is for already organized games, hosted by myself and other DM. We have the back room reserved, and usually fill up all the available seats we can without too much noise pollution or overcrowding. We have been staying away from 5th edition after running it at the bar for 4-ish years, and we have moved on to Dungeon Crawl Classics. DCC, in my opinion, is far more suited for a bar game, and much easier to learn for the newcomers, as well as much less toxic in the community, company, and also the ability to power game is a big plus from the system. In other words, get that 5th edition shit out of here, please. I'm kidding, but for real, no thanks. Now, if you would like to talk to the bar and schedule another day, maybe play in the front separate, you're more than welcome. Alternatively, you could just join us on a Wednesday and check out what we do before starting a whole new thing. The post was locked, and the comments were turned off after that. A little off-putting, condescending, and judgmental, but whatever, it's just a Facebook post. A few days go by, and I decide to join them the following Wednesday. I get to the table. The vibe is cold. Gob doesn't really engage me when I try to make some pre-game small talk. I tried asking questions about Dungeon Crawl Classics, a system I was unfamiliar with, and they just tossed a book at me and said look it up. I spent the rest of the pre-game reading about my class, looking up basic rules and trying to figure out the best way to stay alive in such a meat grinder system. Okay, so, this has the exact energy of literally every Linux admin I have ever heard of or spoken to. They're just telling you, RTFM. Read the fucking manual. This isn't a newbie player centric group. They don't care about the newbies. A new player isn't gonna want to go RTFM. A new player is gonna want to be able to just jump in and have fun, which they can do in 5th edition, and it seems like they can't do in DCC. And I will actually look this up myself after I film this portion, and I'll see just how hard it is to jump into DCC as a newbie. It could be easier, it could be harder, but they're just saying RTFM, and that's never a good sign. Never a sign of a good DM, never a sign of a good party. This is very, very exclusionist, in my opinion. Yeah, this is the DCC Quick Start Guide. It's 6 pages of just straight word salad. But here's my favorite part. You start at level 0 based on your occupation. You're not guaranteed to live and pick your class that you want to pick, which is how it disables power gaming, by just making it RNG as to whether or not you even actually get to fucking play. And here's the best fucking part. You roll a D100 to determine what your general occupation is. You roll a D100 for like fucking everything. This isn't new player friendly. This is very exclusionist. You have to own a manual, and you have to have read it first in order to be able to fucking play this game at all. Everything but my class got randomly generated. The background I got was farmer, so I had a pet pig. Everything but my class got randomly generated. The background I got was farmer, so I had a pet pig with me. I named her Tulip, and made my character very much love his pig, as if she were a child. The DM then started calling me a pig fucker, and the party started chiming in. Whatever, although mean-spirited, it is still pretty funny. I just rolled it into my character interactions, the dwarf named Ingot being all familiar with the other dwarfs, not understanding the innocent bond he has with the sweet Tulip. Just like his dad, forcing him to be a miner, not understanding his passion for raising these wonderful creatures. Ugh. As the game went on, Tulip was used to good effect, scouting ahead, creating distractions, and generally being an asset to the party. We get to a point where we saw a cliff face, nothing but a rope attached to a broken lift. Ingot, my dwarf, volunteered to go scout ahead by rappelling down the rope. Before he left, he said, "If anything happens to me down there, be sure to take care of Tulip for me." They responded with apathy about the pig. As Ingot starts descending, he sees a pink burl careening toward him. It was Tulip. He drops his long sword to free up an arm to attempt to catch the pig. Roll fails, and Tulip falls to her death. The party had tossed the pig off the edge for no reason other than to be a dick. That went 0 to 100 super fast! What the fuck? Jesus Christ! Do I even need to say you shouldn't do shit like this? Do I even need to say anything? I think not. I think not. Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh. What in the name of Moradin are these people doing? Now, I don't like to get upset about things that happen in an imaginary world, but I couldn't help but feel like this was an attack on me, the player. It was pointless, and it was very mean. Narratively, it has left me no choice but to retaliate. This is not something Ingot would just ignore and shrug off. Ingot starts climbing back up with intensity behind his eyes that burns hotter than his passion for his blessed tulip. Ingot was a level 1. Most of the party was level 3+. The culprit behind the slaughtering was a wizard. I did not know much about the game, but what I did know was that at level 1 I can choose a shove ability. On a successful roll, it moves any creature 10 feet in a chosen direction. The wizard just so happened to be standing on a cliff face. The sound of the pig's corpse slamming against the cold, hard floor had woken up what seemed to be a massive insect. Ingot did not care. He has tunnel vision. He needs to avenge his blessed tulip. Ingot reaches the top of the cliff face with the insect hot on his tail. He begins to shove the wizard towards the cliff. A success, but still 5 feet to go before the wizard casts darkness. Now I wish I could tell you this ends in Ingot trifling with a level 4 wizard to avenge his poor tulip, but the DM wouldn't let this work. We fought off the insect, then after the battle the wizard cast a calming spell on me. Since if I kept shoving him, we would TPK, and some people have characters that they have been working on for months. So I decided to go out of my character and back off. At least until we kill this big fucking bug. After we kill the bug, the calm spell is used again. The only way forward was down that cliffside. I was pretty checked out at this point, so both Ingot and I were pretty absent from the following roleplay. The wizard decides to make his way down the rope. Another player seemed to empathize with me. It was pretty apparent that all my fun got taken away. She found an opportunity to kill the wizard, and took it. She cut the rope that the wizard was descending down. The sessions kind of ended soon after that, since the player was upset. Well, no fucking shit! You literally took a... You literally took somebody's pet and yeeted it off a cliffside right in front of their eyes. If you're gonna do that shit, at least fucking murder them first. That way they don't have a reason to actually do anything. You piss off the player, not the actual character. Treating this fucking person like they're an NPC. I realized this group was not for me, so I decided to take Gob's advice, start my own D&D night for Tuesdays. I asked Gob if I could post on his Facebook page in a private message. He responded, DM, please make another group. I reserved that group for Wednesday events. Sorry. Me. Damn. Very unchill. I guess I'll do that then. DM. Unnecessary details. I spun up some ads, started a Discord server, and began promoting the games and the server on various Facebook groups for the local D&D meetup, as well as neighborhood pages. I got a lot of interest, and started getting more players. Even some people who had tried the Wednesday night group and had bad experiences with them had showed up. Our first night, we had a turnout of about 10. It was a big success. After a few weeks of running my games, I decided to reach out to Gob, and I asked him if he wanted to join my server so he could have a space to promote his games to my new audience. After all, a rising tide floats all ships. He joined, and I created a space for him to talk about his DCC games. I asked him to come by and play in one of my games, and he declined. We have been growing so much that I needed a second Dungeon Master to host a second table. I asked Gob if he would like to lend a hand. He declined again. I gave the responsibility to a former Wednesday night player. We call him James. Oddly enough, Gob started showing up and playing in his games. Every once in a while, we did a special night where instead of one-shots, we do a continuing storyline of some 5th edition adventures in Ravenloft, DM'd by James. In his campaign, I played a war cleric with great weapon fighter. Basically, a different kind of paladin with more of a focus on mixing martial, ranged spell attacks, status magic, and of course powerful healing. Listen. Oz, if you guys don't fucking know, I personally believe War Cleric to be the most fucking powerful thing in the game. You can be a powerful as all fuck caster and be one of the most powerful marshals on the team at the same time. You can also just become immortal. Not literally immortal, but you can raise your AC so high that the DM can only hit you on a 20. So, yeah. His whole shtick was that his church was basically a multi-level marketing company. People generally got a laugh out of it. Gob, on the other hand, didn't. He constantly criticized me for not playing my character like a cleric. Now, I should be saving my spell slots for buffs instead of using Guiding Bolt. He continued to ridicule me after the game on my Discord server. I clapped back a few times and let it be. It's all just imaginary shit anyways. At this point, I have been running games at the bar on Tuesdays for about 10 months. Stranger Things Season 4 just came out. We have seen a massive boon in new players. We went from around 2 tables of 4 players to 2 tables of 7 or 8. It got me thinking, I have enough players now to get some shirts printed up and get them all at cost. As soon as I announced the shirts, Gob announces he will also be printing shirts. I'm just thinking, man, wouldn't it be nice if we could just have one big order instead of being petty? It would be cheaper for everyone if we could order with a bigger volume. We could also chip in on a professional illustrator and get something really iconic. I posted a video I made on his Facebook group to show off my portable DM kit I used. It's a nice little black case with encounter cards in it, nice compartment for dice, minis, and spell radius titles. I was pretty proud of how it turned out, so I was excited to share it. He quickly deleted my post and said, "Do you use this for your Tuesday night games? This group is for Wednesday nights." He then suspended me from his Facebook group. Then he made his own Discord server and asked everyone the link before leaving my server. Only about 4 of my players joined, including me, and he shortly banned me from his server as well. I never made a single post on there. Not sure what I did to piss this guy off, but live and let live. I'm not going to meet his pettiness with more pettiness. I'm just gonna do my own shit. I am sure it will continue to be successful. In less than 1 year, I have grown to a level it took him 5 years to achieve. Although, this shit is not a competition. The only win here is to make sure the players have a good time, as well as making sure the bar gets some new customers. It would be really nice if we could have a cooperative relationship, and honestly, I don't hate the guy. I'm sure that if he was not trying so hard not to like me, we would probably be friends. We clearly have a lot in common. It's unfortunate that things are where they are, and I don't see things changing from his perspective. On multiple occasions, I have asked him to grab a beer sometimes so we can talk some of these conflicts out, and he has turned me down every single time. Although, still never been to one of my one-shot tarot games. So we actually can already tell, just by looking at the character creation of DCC, why Gob likes it so much. It takes a lot of power out of the player's hands and puts it into the DM's hands. And I'm saying this because Gob sounds like a power-tripping asshole. And it seems to me like he's trying to use this Discord to increase the size of the Tuesday night games. Not Tuesday night, the Wednesday night games. That's good and all. But out of spite for the person who is running the Wednesday night... Sorry, I'm getting it backwards. Out of spite for the person who is running the Tuesday night 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons sessions. They're doing extremely well, bringing tons of new patrons to the bar, bringing like 20, 30 new people. Gob is cursing this DM and all that he stands for, because he's not playing DCC, because he's not, one of those people. And that ultimately brings into question, why is Gob a dungeon master? Because I'll tell you one thing. Gob is called Gob for a reason. And he's certainly not a good one. The dude's an asshole. A complete dickwad. I'd be willing to bet that he is considered to be somewhat neutral evil in real life. I don't think that he belongs at the Dungeon Master seat. I think he should go back to playing as a player, because just reading through the DCC character sheet, creation process and everything is designed to kill the players, and it seems like that is what Gob is wanting. To be able to kill his players, TPK, have hard combat. You can do that. Just DM by feel in Dungeons & Dragons. Run like 3.5. Things are a lot harder. 5th edition is the dumbed down baby version of Dungeons & Dragons. It has a lot of cool shit in it. 4E has a lot of cool shit in it. But they're never going to be perfect. We have 6th edition coming out, I think like 2023, 2034. It's, you know, it's a nice thing to have, but once again, you know, some things are better than others at certain fantasy settings, at certain play styles. DCC absolutely seems to me like it is a entire system hinged on the Dungeon Master feeling like they're God at the table, and the players feeling like fucking garbage. It is a very power trippy, not new player friendly system, and it is very much a mistake on Gob's part to insist that they should be playing Dungeon Crawl Classics in that bar. When you want to bring some new people into a tabletop role-playing game setting, there are 2 systems that you really need to keep in mind. Well, actually, 3 systems. You want to have Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, because that's really fun. It's a classic at this point. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. You want to run Pathfinder, either 1st or 2nd edition. They're both good, and a lot of people love Pathfinder, and you've got a lot of extra power fantasy in Pathfinder. When you're playing a tabletop role-playing game, it is going to be for the exact same reason that you would play something like Path of Exile, something like Diablo 2, something like fucking Tiny Tina's Wonderland, something like Borderlands. It's power fantasy. If you're playing a tabletop role-playing game, you're not always playing for the lore, but you are always playing for that power fantasy, for that strategic feel of godliness in combat, for just feeling good as a character. Would you get that from DCC? I don't know, but I know for a fact that you can get that from Warhammer. You can get that from fucking Pathfinder, 1st and 2nd edition. You can get that from almost every version of Dungeons & Dragons. I haven't played the initial version, but I'm pretty sure you could also get it from that. DCC does not seem like a very power fantasy-ish game. It just, if you look through the character creation process, it tells you like all the bonuses you can get and stuff, and there's really not much bonus power that you get from being a high-level character versus a low-level character. It's all in your gear, and it's all in how lucky you are to fucking survive. Which, you know, good thing. It's got tight combat. It can really, you can use it for a, like, roguelite type system. I wouldn't ever run it for, like, a campaign. If the campaign was roguelite, yeah, I would run it for that, but I don't think I like the system. I would genuinely prefer to run Fatal, and that's a whole nother can of garbage on its own. Now, much love, stay sexy, and I hope to see you, sexy mother lovers, tomorrow. And if you've made it this far, you've got some big dick energy.